make sure that they are making it more SEO friendly so that you are ranking higher on Google. But this last episode is my favorite. Since we're B2B marketers, we work obviously with a lot of businesses who market to other businesses, and conventions, trade shows are a huge part of a lot of B2B marketing strategies. And I love events just because I think they're fun. I love meeting people. It is a great way to think outside the box and to show your ingenuity with your booth design. That's something that we help a lot of our clients with. But more than that, it's the strategy of when you're there at the event and how you use SEO to actually help both at the event and after the event. So we're going to dive into that. We're also going to dive into how to structure your website so that it's the best structure for SEO. And then we're also going to end with talking about how you can optimize video content to help with SEO. We might not go in that order. We'll see how it flows today. But I'm excited to chat with you. So first, let's talk about site navigation. So how you build your site is really important for SEO. Let's just start with the most obvious. Google ranks your site based on how long users stay there on the site. It's called how sticky your website is. And the stickier you can make it, the better your SEO, because Google will see that people are staying on your website for longer. So let's talk about some basics on the structure. First of all, your nav bar. Sometimes you go to websites and it's like an accordion menu under an accordion menu under an accordion menu under an accordion menu. That is not good for SEO. All of the content that's buried down in that third and fourth accordion really don't get much juice in the eyes of Google. We need most of the content on the second and third level of on the first and second level of the sitemap. If you don't know what a sitemap is, you can definitely Google it. But when you make edits to your website, you submit your sitemap, or you should submit your sitemap to Google every time you do that. Google has a really easy tool that makes it very easy. You can just Google sitemap tool and it'll pop up. It's pretty automatic for the most part, except in a couple cases it might not be. Anyways, going down a rabbit hole. So you want to make sure that your navigation is usually no more than 2 like drop downs, not 2 drop downs, but like 2 levels. So like you can have 8 drop downs. Like if you have 8 different like subheadings, and then that's a drop down, you should only have 1 more drop down after that. The other thing that you need to make sure is just structure your pages so that the information that people want is front and center. And write it in such a way where they kind of have to keep scrolling down to keep reading and to keep getting information. It is a little bit of a cat and mouse game with how much content you give them and how quickly you answer their question. You obviously want to provide context. When people are looking for an answer to a problem, most of the time they don't just necessarily want the answer. They like a little background information. So if you start with the background information and then get to the answer, you will have people that'll stay on your website for longer, and they'll appreciate the background information. And then you also give them the website, the solution on the website. If you look at really well-constructed pages, especially blog posts, it's basically the idea of like, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you. So basically like, I'm going to say what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you. And then I'm going to tell you what I told you. So you're going to preview the content, you're going to give them the content, and you're going to review the content. It's just like public speaking. When you are giving a speech, you preload the speech with what you're going to say, then you say it, then you review what you've already said. You also need to make sure that you are keeping track of interlinking within your site. So we do this all the time with clients' blogs and website pages. There are a lot of times that you can't fit all the content that you want on a page. There comes a point where you don't want to have people scroll forever. Interlinking is a huge green flag to Google. So what like we do is we build pages, and then if there are already blogs written that support what's being written on those pages, we link to them. So let's say you are wanting to let's say you have a Google search query around um, best practices for Instagram posting for businesses. So let's say you go to that page and it starts listing out the best practices. You might want to throw in a LinkedIn suggestion. So the idea would be that, okay, here's some Instagram strategies. If you want LinkedIn strategies, click here. And people would click on it, and then it would take them to another page or a blog post that talks about the LinkedIn strategies. And then there, that could link to Facebook, or could link to TikTok, could link to Google. So you might not have all the content right away when you're building your website. The goal is that you build your website to what it needs to be, and then you start writing content based on the keywords that we've talked about in previous episodes. And then as you're writing those blogs and you're posting them to the website, you're looking to see where they make sense to link them back in your website. So like on the homepage, if you, let's say, run an HVAC company, and you talk about like duct installation or duct cleaning, you might mention it, but then you could make the word duct cleaning a link back to a blog that you just wrote about how duct cleaning actually works and why it's important. That interlinking, like I said earlier, is huge for SEO because, one, Google likes to see interlinking both within your site and then to and from other sites. Like those are backlinks. And like I mentioned, I think it was on the first episode, if you can get a couple of really good backlinks to like reputable media sources. So like here in Sacramento, that might be the Sacramento Bee or the Sacramento Business Journal. Or nationally, it could be USA Today, Forbes, Wall Street Journal. You might be thinking, there's no way I can get a blog on there. There are ways to get blogs on there. There are public relations agencies that help businesses get into those ecosystems, whether it's on the websites or actually in the print magazine. We don't do that in-house. We work with PR agencies and they help our clients do that. So if you have any questions about that, reach out to a PR agency or reach out to me and I'd be happy to point you in the right direction. Anyways, I'm kind of getting off track. What I'm trying to get to is interlinking within the site and interlinking through other sites or backlinking is huge. Plus, it makes your website more sticky. So if you can create links that tie information together that people will continue reading, that is SEO gold. So think about your website as structurally, it needs to make sense. It needs to flow. Each page needs to flow properly. But then how can you interlink? How can you get people to stay within your website for as long as possible so that you're providing value to them and showing Google that you are providing value to them? Because Google loves that and will rank your site higher. Okay, I think I want to end on events because it's my favorite thing to talk about. So let's talk about video content. We're going to make this pretty short because, I mean, it is a complex topic, but I don't want it to consume this episode of our webinar. So maybe we'll do a whole webinar on a video. But what I will say is it's the same strategy with blogs. Find the keywords that are ranking, that are relevant to you, and make video content about that. Put the videos on YouTube and properly describe the video, use the keywords in YouTube so it ranks properly, and then put the video on your website. Don't host the video, just link to it from YouTube. Remember, I think it was episode 2, maybe we talked about site speed. If you have videos on your website that are being hosted directly on the website, that will greatly slow down your website. You just want to link to it from Google. And linking doesn't mean like a underline hyperlink. It can, but I mean, you can have a video viewer that is then linked to YouTube so people don't necessarily, like they stay within your website. Also, you can share that video content on social media, like what we're doing. So at some point, these videos will live on YouTube and we're going to put them on our website. But remember, the goal of your website is to get traffic there and to keep traffic there. So share your videos on social media. That is the biggest way to get people coming to your website. and viewing your content. So once you've made the videos, put them on YouTube so they rank on YouTube, but then link them back to your site, and then share the video or share the whole page from your website on like your LinkedIn post. And that will get people going to that page. You want site traffic to go back to your website. Okay, so speaking of events, last topic. Events are really cool because they're a hands-on experience for everybody. We work with our clients on not only booth design, but on the strategy around how are we going to get people into the booth? What are we going to talk to them about? And then what's going to be the follow-up plan? So again, you want website traffic. So if you were going to a conference, it would be really smart if you wrote some blog topics around common questions that you might be answering at the conference. They can be written specifically for the conference, which would actually be really cool. Because then when people go there from the conference, it's just a continuation of that experience and it talks about the conference. Or they could just be legacy posts where regardless of when you're sharing them, who you're sharing them with, they make sense. So they talk about your services or your company. But I have a copy of my business card here, so I don't know how well you guys can see that. So that's my business card. This is the back. It has a great texture to it. So that's one thing that you need to make sure is that whatever you're handing out at the conference, like people, like every time I hand this to somebody, they're just like, oh my gosh, like this is the best card like I've ever gotten. If you notice, there's a QR code on there. This QR code right now just connects to a contact sheet that people can then just download into their phone. So if I meet someone, instead of taking the business card, which most people do, but they can just scan it to put my information quickly into their phone. But you can change QR codes. Now, I don't mean you don't need to reprint business cards. There are services, QR code services, where this QR code will stay the same, but you link to different things. So that helps printing because you don't have to worry about printing different business cards for different uses, or this goes for flyers or anything like that. But if I'm going into a conference, and like right now, one thing that we're doing a lot of work on is ADA compliance for websites. And we have a lot of things that we're working on right now, and it's going to be a really impactful service that we're going to be offering our clients. I might change this QR code to one of our best performing blogs on ADA compliance. So if I'm meeting, let's say the conference is 3 days long and I meet 100 people and I have them scan this QR code and it takes them to their website, we just got 100 new visitors to our website. Now, you might be thinking that doesn't sound like a lot, and it's not, but every little bit helps. And the other thing is you can use this across like all marketing materials. So if you're going to a conference that has thousands of people walking by, you can have QR codes on your booth design so that people are just walking by, they can scan it, it takes them to your website. Now, you don't have to have every QR code go to a blog. It could go to a video. It could go to an interactive experience on your website. But what's really cool is, again, if you are tactical, you can set your website up so you can track the ROI of the conference. So that's the biggest thing we talk with clients about is you can have a digital marketing team at your side, but if they can't prove their ROI, what value are they giving you? How do you determine the value that they're giving you? So one thing we work on with our clients is creating these ecosystems that are tied specifically to the conference so that we know that every piece of traffic that comes through there, every contact form we get submitted through there, we know comes from the conference. And then the sales teams of our clients can then follow up on those leads. And then they know, okay, we closed these, let's say 12 leads, and that equaled X number of dollars. Well, great, that paid for the conference, or that 10X the conference, or whatever it is. So you can use your website very tactically to enhance the ROI of the conference and to generate more buzz on your website, which will increase your SEO. I appreciate you guys watching all 4 episodes. We have a really exciting video next week where I actually sat down with an attorney who works with businesses, and I interviewed her about ADA compliance and what she is seeing from her perspective as an attorney. And it's really eye-opening for business owners. And I hope that you make the time to watch it. I learned a lot from the interview, and I think that it is a really good video just to watch, just so you're aware of what's coming down the pike for ADA compliance for private businesses. This isn't going away. It's becoming more standard, and more states are passing laws around ADA compliance. And it's one of the biggest liabilities that small business owners, well, small business is relative. What I'm trying to say is, if you own a business of any size, it is definitely worth a moment of your time to watch the video, to educate yourself on what the liability is out there for you, because this is the new standard of the web. It is becoming a place where people of all backgrounds need to be able to access the web, and ADA compliance is ratcheting up, and it can be a scary and complicated burden for businesses to carry if they don't have someone at their side like us. So I encourage you to watch it. It's a great interview, and we'll definitely talk more about ADA compliance in future episodes of this webinar. Again, I appreciate your time in watching all 4 episodes of our SEO series. And then after the ADA video, we're actually going to get into some topics, more marketing topics and branding topics. So look forward to talking with you about that. I hope you have a great day. I'll see you soon. Bye.